Hey guys, Magnus here, bringing you another video, and this one is one I sort of promised quite a while ago. I promised it quite a while ago, and honestly, I've been sort of working up to it, but I got around to it. It's not complete. It's not, but I mean that's probably to the best of what in terms of my enjoyment. Now, of course. Last year they gave us the SciFi update. Now what I thought was really weird about the SciFi update is because I sort of predicted it kind of before that when I did like my sort of future themed event, and I sort of said they should do a kind of future themed event. The thing is though, all the stuff, or most of the stuff that I said they should add, they didn't really add. They sort of added background stuff, which honestly, some of the decorations and stuff they picked, and even some of the buildings, you would have expected it in a part 2, which is really weird, which definitely sort of confirmed to me that they are planning to do a part 2 of some description. I don't know if they're going to call it the SciFi 2 event, or what that. Now, of course, with the whole superheroes thing, I would never have predicted that. I can definitely predict SciFi 2, because there's so much stuff they missed out. There's so many characters, so many buildings, and decorations are a bit scarce, I guess, because they sort of did all the decorations, but honestly, they don't really need to really go too detailed with a whole bunch of new decorations. They could just bring back the old ones. I wouldn't be too bothered. As long as we got loads of new buildings, loads of new characters, I wouldn't really care. So let's get into what I think, and this is how I think they should do the event. However, they can do it in a completely different way. So of course there's going to be a quest line as per usual. So basically Frink is back at it again. He's trying to get his time travel to work. He basically wants to time travel again. He wants to do what he did the same time. We're not going to do any of that stuff with the whole clone shit with Homer's costumes becoming clones. I'm not doing any of that. But instead I think we should mix a sort of element, a bit of a Halloween-y element to it, an element of magic. So Lisa says it's stupid and magic, and then obviously the fortune teller will come and say, "Why did you pay me to tell your future?" And this is when you will build the fortune teller, sort of place the fortune teller, because I guess it wouldn't be a building. And so this is how it looks. It's just a simple sort of tent. It's nothing too fancy. But when you place it, you get the fortune teller as a character. You unlock her straight away. She will kind of be the kind of leader of this task alongside Frink and alongside Jerry, who I'll talk about in a minute. But she will, so there's kind of like 3 leaders, which I think would work. I think it would be cool. And of course you can send Springfielders to explore their future, and you can earn currency. And the fortune teller you will unlock her instantly, like you unlocked Stephen Hawking instantly last time, which I think would be pretty cool. So yeah, so that's the fortune teller. And so that's we say basically when you send the Springfielders there to you basically earn the currency of the thing, because they're exploring their future. So here's the whole tap aliens thing. Now I think they should, in terms of this tappable creature, of course last time we had the whole robot stuff. That was kind of cool. It wasn't so bad, and you had that kind of mini game where you could fight them off. I don't really know what mini game they could have for this, but basically I think they should have the whole thing. Now basically what we find out in the future episodes that these aliens have inhabited Earth. Of course they've kind of become residents of Earth. I think Jerry, who was Jenda's wife, Jenda's new husband after Bart, I think he should be kind of the leader of this kind of little army that's happening. So basically these guys want to immigrate to Springfield, and you must stop them because they are illegal aliens. I think maybe they could do some sort of political joke in there as well with the whole, with the term illegal aliens. It's kind of funny. I think it would be funny. They could do some funny stuff there. Some light political humour, but they could do the stuff with the aliens, and I think that the whole alien things would be really cool. And of course in some way down the line they could do a guilds deal where they release either District 9 and District 10. They could maybe have them as one big building as both of them, or they could just add them separately. I've just sort of suggested here maybe they release District 9 right at the start for 100 donuts. Gil comes and he gives us yes, and maybe halfway through he gives us District 10, and basically this will spawn aliens every 24 hours. However, I do sometimes complain about these kind of buildings where the ones when they spawn the tappable creatures. I'm not really crazy about them, but I could definitely see, this is more of a prediction than I would say it is an idea or something I want. I can definitely see this happening. If they add aliens as the tappable thing, which could happen, I could definitely see them adding District 9 and District 10 as these kind of buildings that release them as a guild deal. But I mean, I wouldn't be too bothered if they did add this, and I don't think it's a terrible idea. Much better than the Bandit Fort, I think, though. Moving on. So this is crafting. I know it sucks, but I think it's kind of necessary. I would like them to do something different with crafting, so it's not so much crafting, it's something else. but whatever, we could do something, I guess. So the first thing is Apu's future home. I think this looks damn cool. Look at this. I just think it looks cool. We also have a hover bus, the London hover bus. We have a hover police car. We have like a future house and another future house. Just some backgroundy buildings, but they could throw them in there anyway. We have Nelson's Crab Shack. This is quite important. This is a restaurant that Nelson owns in the future. We have the lofts at Springfield Elementary. This is actually an apartment block that Bart lives in. So this is a bunch of apartments, which happens the school gets turned into. So I think they should make this as a craftable, maybe a craftable skin. I don't think there should be a unique building. I guess it could be a unique building because of course they did it for the Simpsons house, but it could just be a skin as well. I mean, either one, but I imagine they might just add it as a building. We have Ralph's camper van. This is Ralph's camper van he has in the future. It doesn't actually hover. It's just on wheels. It's not. This episode wasn't quite in the future. I don't. Oh, this was the President Lisa episode. I'm pretty sure. So it's not quite in the future. And then we also have the Plastic Surgery Center. Yeah, I think that would be pretty cool. Of course, this is another future building, another cool one just to throw in there as a thing. But I guess the big one would be kind of the lofts at Springfield Elementary. I think that would be the coolest one. And of course, I forgot to mention, this is Frink's house. You're basically, through a quest, you unlock that for free, and that's the building you tap to obviously craft all this stuff. I think it makes a lot of sense to add his house and actually add it as the crafting one, a crafting building. Or it could be the opposite round, and it could be the one where you send Springfielders. I just think it makes more sense to add Frink's house as the crafting, because of course he's the inventor and the scientist and all that. Plus, it's a really useful building. Now, this is another thing that I think they should do, is they should add a task to Rockstar Maggie. Of course, she's already in the game, but I want them to add a task for a Be Pregnant task, 130 days, and you'll unlock Maggie Simpson Jr. as a non-playable character. I don't think they should add tasks for her just because she was literally only there for a few seconds after she was born, and I think it would be a bit conflicting if there were two sort of Maggies that look fairly similar. Now, I want them to put her in this kind of pink thing. I sort of say, you might be able to tell I kind of drew this because it had Maggie's hand, but basically there is a scene where she's in the complete same attire as normal Maggie would be in, and she's also in this kind of, there's another scene where she's in this pink cloth. I think they should add her in the pink cloth kind of thing, and then have her just crawl around in the pink cloth. You do see her little hands, so I think they could animate it pretty easily. I just couldn't be bothered getting a better picture, but yeah, they could just add her so she just, you know, crawls around as a non-playable character, and when you tap her, she just does the sort of sucking motion on her dummy. I just think that, or pacifiers, you should probably say. So this is Act 1 store. This is the store. The first thing I think they should put in the store is Kirk and Picard Simpson. Now, I know that they are Simpsons characters. It's a bit kind of, why are they donuts? You know, they're big Simpsons. They're meant to be, they're part of the Simpsons family. But to be honest, there's a load of Simpsons family members, and there's probably ones who I think were a bit more important. So these guys are 100 donuts. I think that would be fair enough. I put them to the side because they're not as big, although they're pretty cool, and of course they are Bart's kids, and they are important. I think putting them to the side is probably better because I just don't think they're as major as some of the other characters. Then we have Hard Lad for 70 donuts. I think this is really, really cool, of course, adding to the Lard Lad parodies that we've already got. We've got so many. We've got the Retro Lard Lad, we've got the new Lard Lad, we've got the main Lard Lad, and we have, obviously, the First Churchill Lard Lad. Oh, we have so many. And then we also have the Hover Taxi for 15 donuts. Of course, this is where Thingy drives, Kearney drives. We have Bart's car for 15 donuts as well. Yeah, that was my idea there. They're both 15 donuts. And then we have the Act 1 prizes. So the first prize is Howard Flowers HQ. This is a huge tower which Howard Flowers basically develops into. Basically, it just shoots off as a business and it turns into this. So I think that would be a really, really cool one to add. Maybe like a sort of heightsy kind of building, which I wouldn't recommend, but I guess it's possible. This is the future plane. This is a plane that Lisa, in the episode Lisa's Wedding, this is apparently what planes look like in the future, so that's pretty cool. They can throw that one in. We have the computer hospital. Of course, this is where computers go when they're upset. No, I don't know. Probably when they got viruses, which I think mine has at the minute, so it might be a good idea mine goes there. We have, this is Ralph's and Bart's future home. Again, it's kind of like a beachy kind of home, which is pretty cool, but I think they can throw that in there as well. We have Camp David. This is where Mooch Bart is sent when he's sort of being troublesome, where President Lisa sends him. So they could throw this in. These are the kind of two buildings they sort of missed, which are a bit weird. They should have probably added these two buildings in the last superheroes event, really, because it sort of ties into that episode. Yeah. Then we have Clancy Bouvier. Now I know this is a bit weird, but basically last time they added the real Seymour Skinner, and it was a bit weird that they added him in there, but they sort of worked it in with this idea that he was kind of like a parallel universe, and it well, that's what I gathered from it. I'm not too sure if that's what it was, but the idea here is I think maybe the reason that he gets unlocked is when they're trying to travel into the future, they accidentally travel into the past and they retrieve Clancy Bouvier, and maybe they can do the whole with when you unlock him, they can do the whole thing with Marge's fear of flying, and the fact that the reason that they can through his quest line they can do the whole fear of flying thing, because I don't think it's big enough to make a whole event out of it, but I think adding him here would be really cool, and I think it would work in pretty well because of the whole past thing, and plus they could do the whole fear of flying thing, which I think is a really important episode for Marge, without making it a full-fledged event and sort of ruining it, because obviously there's not really any buildings they could add along with him now that they've added the airport. Anyway, moving on, we have the hang on. Oh, yeah, they were the Act 1 prizes. Yeah, now we have the Act 2 store. So this is Act 2. So the first thing is the Graveyard of the Future. This is for 95 donuts. This is like a graveyard, but all the kind of graves are like holograms or something like that, I'm pretty sure. So this will just be like an enclosed little thing, but I think it would be pretty cool. Maybe earn some cash. We have Medbot for 30 donuts. This will be a non-playable character who will just sort of waltz around. Of course, this is the Doctor of the Future. Of course, he's the one who delivers Maggie's baby. We have Officer Wiggum. Now this I would prefer it if it was a costume, but I know that they've already done the Mooch Bar and the President Lisa and the Rockstar Maggie, so maybe it can't be a costume. Maybe it has to be a unique character. Either way, I'm not bothered at this point. I mean, I was before, but now that they've already done it, I'd maybe rather than be consistent than just to add him as a costume and make it really weird. Like, you know, why didn't you do that for Mooch Bar and President Lisa? But 85 donuts, whatever. I think that would be kind of cool. He's a kind of cool character. And then we have the offshore gambling. This actually is in the internet. This is a part of the internet. But I think it would be cool if they added it as a building. Maybe they could tie it in with the whole Burns Casino update. 60 donuts. Yeah, maybe they could label it as like number 2 or something. No, I hate when they do that. Like with the Whacking Day when Wild West. I don't know. I'm just rambling. Yeah, but that's pretty cool. Offshore gambling. And it's funny because it's offshore. This could actually be placed in the sea as well, something I wanted to say because it's offshore. And then we have, this is the Act 2 actual prizes. So, the first thing is Zia Simpson. I know they usually don't add a character as the first prize, but I think it would be cool for Act 2 at least, just to do that, because I think she's important, and I can't really think of any other place to add her without being like sort of cramped, like adding too many characters in that act. Then we have East University. So this is the university that Lisa goes to, where she meets Hugh Parkfield, which we'll talk about in a minute. So yep, that's pretty cool. The university. We have Simpson and Grandson bike customizing. This is a store that Bart owns in the future after Grandpa dies, so that's pretty sweet, and we can throw that in there. We have YouTube. YouTube, of course, is a part of the internet. Again, really amazing. And obviously a really funny parody of YouTube. And I think that's great. And maybe they can mention maybe this big list. Do you know what would be pretty cool if EA, if they just mentioned like just ever so tiny little tiny pixels, they put Nuclear Videos HD, Lork and the Hedgehog, Ted 2001, Magnus Robert, and they just maybe put all the other tapped out, like what's his name, Casey Loves Gaming, whatever the heck his name is, the other big guy just tapped out YouTuber. You know, all the others. I don't know. I'm trying to think of. I don't remember any others. I know there's quite a few tapped out YouTubers, but maybe they could. That would be pretty cool and pretty subtle. They could do, and then they could just ban us all. And then we have out of date Futureland, but the futures thing. Now this is a unique one. Now this is like a ride that's sort of futuristic, but it's not actually set in the future. What I'm saying here is maybe they add this as a Krusty Land building. I know, I'm going back to it. Why don't they add this as a Krusty Land building? I think that would be cool if they threw that in there and they gave it as an extra, just one ride. That's all I'm asking for. Just one. They can throw that into Krusty Land, and maybe that can be the thing that leads us into Krusty Land Part 2. I don't know, I'm just chatting shit. But no, this would be a really cool thing to see, and I definitely want to see it in Krusty Land. Oh, there's my malware. And then the next thing is Parkfield Manor with Hugh Parkfield. Of course, this is the sort of guy that Lisa plans to marry in the future, but it doesn't all really work out. So this is Parkfield Manor. I couldn't get a great picture of it. Of course, he's this British guy and he owns this kind of castle, of course, because that's what all British people own. Yeah, so that's pretty cool. And then we have the Act 3 store. So the first thing is the sort of a live tree or whatever the heck this is for 40 donuts. Well, a live tree, I guess it would be the best thing to say. Now, this is actually what the treehouse becomes in the future. So I think this should be a skin for the treehouse, or maybe a whole unique thing. I don't know. Maybe they could just add it as a unique thing. But I like to think that some things could be skins, you know. Then we have the Cretaceous Park, which of course is fun. It's a joke on Jurassic Park, which obviously because it's in the Cretaceous period and not the Jurassic period. Which the Jurassic Park isn't. All the dinosaurs in there aren't even in the Jurassic period. I'm pretty sure. But 110 donuts. It's quite big. It's quite unique and it's quite cool looking. So I think 110 donuts, although it's a bit of a push, I reckon it's cool enough. If that happens again, I will stop. Then we have the cryogenic facility. This is for 45 donuts. This is of course where Abe is and a bunch of other people like the crazy cat lady. I just think they should have the grave with the little stairwell and they can make it a building. I think that's fair enough. We have Sherry and Terry Muntz. This is Sherry and Terry in the future, of course, Nelson's 4 babies. For 75 donuts, I think that would be cool. And then we have Santa's little hybrid. I forgot to put a price on this. Maybe like 30, 40 donuts. Maybe a bit less than that, I don't know. As an unplayable character, of course, this is a crossbreed between Snowball 2 and Santa's little helper, and I swear to God, this is the one I definitely want for sure. If they add anything, if I had to pick a character that they have to add, it would have to be this one, because I really damn want to see this, alright? I really fucking want to see it, and I apologize for swearing, but I'm serious. It's meant to be family friendly, alright? Actually, to be fair, 12 movies are allowed 1 F word, so that was my 1 F word. This is rated 12, this video. And if you notice here, before I mentioned, that is one of the buildings. This is what I mean when I talked about background stuff. That's one of the buildings they added in the SciFi 1. So of course we have the Benny Hill, and I'm not too sure in terms of rights if they could add this, but if they could, of course, it would be a pretty cool Act 3 prize, first Act 3 prize, what I'd like to see. St. Peter's Cathedral, again, maybe it might be an issue with rights there again, but I want them to add this because this looks damn cool. It's really cool, like, nice tribute to the Beatles. Also, it's awesome, look at it. It's a massive church, or massive cathedral, I should say. And then we have the zombie rescue mission. Of course, this is where all zombies go into. And I thought about adding zombies as tappable creatures because, of course, that is like a problem in the future, which we see in the background, like a background story with Millhouse. But I thought that maybe that would be a bit sort of too Halloweeny then. But they could have definitely add this building and then re-add it in Halloween. And then we have the adult skateboards. This is like a little kiosk they can just throw in there as well, maybe just a decoration. We have Moving On. This is like a facility that actually wipes your memory, which Bart goes to try and wipe his memory about gender after they sort of have a really bad break, or well, after they divorce and all that. After you know what I mean. So yeah, that's pretty cool. And I think all the stuff that they have, I think they should just do it with the Mooch Bart character. I don't think they should add like another skin or something. Maybe they could add a skin for Mooch Bart, but I would just prefer if they just did it with Mooch Bart and just get it over with him. And then the final prize, the big prize, the massive prize, the prize I would actually wait for is the Gender's home, or the future, or Bart and Gender's future home with, of course, Gender. So yeah, this is a really, really cool one. So this is, of course, their home that they own in the future. Millhouse's and Lisa's home is actually already added, but it's called like the self-efficient home or something like that. I'm pretty sure it is added in the Heights, which is really weird, but whatever. Of course, it will come with Gender. I think this is a brilliant, perfect prize, brilliant final prize, and I'd be pretty glad to see it. And then in the takedown, or it didn't have to be the takedown, it could be right at the end. You basically can unlock. Oh, I guess it could be free, I guess, or maybe in the takedown. Either one, really. You get Jerry for 65 donuts, or free. Depends if you want it in the quest or the takedown. Yeah, I don't think that it would be necessary to add or give us one of his little alien companions, because he himself is pretty much looks identical to them all. So yeah. And I got a few tasks. I'm just gonna go through these really quickly. So we have the fortune teller, show people their fate's card. That's meant to be fate's card for 60 minutes. Be horrified over our own future for 4 hours. Count cash for 6 hours. Pack up shop for 8 hours. Disappear for 12 hours. With a little animation, and then see into people's future for 24 hours. Here in a little chair doing our little animation. We have Gender Simpson headbutt with Bart for 60 minutes. Picnic for 4 hours, date with Jerry for 6 hours, skateboard for 8 hours, text about Bart for 12 hours, and deal with marriage problems for 24 hours over at her house. And these tasks are the same, because honestly I couldn't come up with anything for these. Transport to Dad's for 60 minutes, just over at the Lofts, Springfield Elementary. Visit Great Grandpa for 4 hours over at the the facility, the graveyard thing. Go to virtual school for 6 hours over at Jenda's home, I guess. Stay at grandparents for 12 hours over at the future Simpsons home, and then make trouble for 24 hours over at Jenda's home. Those tasks are the same. And then we have Clancy Bouvier, take pictures for 60 minutes, freak out for 4 hours, drink and smoke for 6 hours, disapprove of Homer for 12 hours, and be a steward for 24 hours. We have Zia Simpson, spend time with mom for 60 minutes, get another tattoo for 4 hours, go to virtual school for 6 hours, watch MyTube for 8 hours over at MyTube. Oh, no, it's actually YouTube, sorry. I meant to put YouTube. That is, MyTube exists in there as well. Browse the internet for 12 hours here with the little cable in it. And then spend time at grandparents for 24 hours. That's meant to be over at the future Simpsons house. Sherry and Terry check for pregnancy for 60 minutes. Look for Nelson for 4 hours. Brag about the relationship for 6 hours. Show off babies for 8 hours. Change diapers for 12 hours. And stay with Nelson for 24 hours. Most of them at Nelson's house. And then also them walking around and stuff. Jerry, we have do that thing with his mouth. He does this really weird thing with his mouth where like he sort of kisses gender. I want him to do that. Didn't know what to call it though. Check in with Brutes for 4 hours over at the District 9. Date with Gender for 6 hours. Be classy at District 10 for 8 hours over at District 10. Tell Bart to back off for 12 hours with Mooch Bart. And then stay at Gender's for 24 hours at Gender's house. And then I sort of gave up here. But shoot himself for 60 minutes. Fight crime for 4 hours. Get tips from Bart from father for 12 hours. Something like that. Or maybe like stay in the car or something, in the police car. And then Hugh Part Fiona couldn't be arsed. Sorry about that, guys, but honestly the video's already pretty long, and you know there is so much stuff, and to be honest with you, if you really wanted to go into the background, you can get more little background buildings and stuff. So honestly, this update for me is inevitable. They have to add it. If they don't add it this year, I'd be really concerned that they're not even going to bother. There's plenty of material, plenty of content, so I really hope they are going to repeat themselves with the whole superheroes thing, where they repeated superheroes and they did a superheroes part 2. I really want them to do it again. I know I've sort of gone through this stuff before, and it might feel a bit repetitive, but I wanted to sort of reinforce it for my new subscribers, and of course I wanted to kind of rename it a little bit for the SciFi 2, you know, adapt it a little bit and talk about stuff, because I do believe they are going to do one. If they don't do one, they're silly. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed. I know this video was really long, and I am sick of talking. Sorry I went through those tasks really fast, but honestly, I can't be fucked. I just said in a second, so this is now rated 15. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm talking too fast. I'm getting out of track. Bye.